Okay, hang on, hang on. I've just made a boo-boo. I've got a special guest that I'm bringing on the screen, and because we were chatting away, I forgot to share the live into my group. So give me a second. My bad, group. I forgot to set it up because the way you got to do it these days is not as easy as it used to be. So I've got to share the live into the group. Oopsies. Okay, let's start that again. Hopefully we're live streaming into my Facebook group now. We're live on my business page, YouTube, Instagram, and hopefully my free group now. So my apologies. That was my technical fault because I was chatting away with somebody I'm going to bring on the screen shortly, and I forgot to do it. So, such is life. Today, what I'm talking about is the missing link for most people with being successful online. And I've certainly been through this journey, and I know how much of a massive difference this missing link has made to me, and helping me over the years become a multiple six-figure earner, having tens of thousands of followers over the different platforms and being able to achieve what I can achieve in my network marketing company. It's largely due to this one thing. Okay, most people skip this one thing because they just do. I'll get into that in a second. So just a couple of reminders. Hopefully you can see me in the group now. If you're joining me live, please say hello. Let me know where you are coming from. We've got Doreen on from Vancouver, Canada. So lovely to see you on, Doreen. Anyone, watching on any of the platforms, please say hello. So the thing with being successful online is if you already had all the answers, if you already knew what you needed to know, then you would already be successful. So if you are not already successful, what is the reason for that? Like, have a think about that. I'd love to know from those of you that are watching live, what do you think some of the missing pieces are, or a major missing piece with speeding up your results online? I'd just love to know what your thoughts are around that. Like, if you had one missing piece that you thought, yep, this is the main reason why I'm not successful online, what do you think that is? While you're hopefully sharing your thoughts with me, if you are in my coaching community, we just finished a practical training on Reels. I shared my phone screen on my computer and I pushed all the buttons and I showed you how to create a reel with text, wording, colors, description, how you use AI to give you the caption, all of that kind of stuff, adding the trending audio. So we went through all of that practically. And we've got much more training to come on that. So if you're in my coaching community, you weren't on that live training that I just finished on a practical Reels training, pushing all the buttons, then you need to watch the replay of that. And we've got many more weeks of that training coming. Okay. So anyone else that's joining, hello, hello. So no one's put it down. So I don't know whether people aren't brave enough to say, but you don't know what you don't know, correct? Like, if you knew all the answers with building online, like creating all the necessary content, how to create the content, how to create your perfect brand, how to get organized, how to balance your will, make sure you've got to have a good family life and a business life, how to create great stories, great posts, great reels, great TikToks, what platforms you should be on when, like all of that. If you knew everything there was to know, you would already be successful. Now, some people would rather take their time with all of that and get all the free training and just bumble their way through it. But that's not how I like to sort of move through life. I like to speed up the learning curve. I don't know about you, but for me, there's two things that really annoy me in not only in building in the online world, but in life. And that's wasting time and wasting money. I've wasted a lot of time paying for a lot of things that I haven't even opened. Who's done that when it comes to building a business online, that you've bought courses and you've done this and you've done that and you haven't even, opened them up? So that's on us for not following that through. But you can waste a lot of money trying to find all the answers. And most people in the industry are buying a $27 training, a $47 training, even a $97 training, expecting that that's going to get them, to six figures. It doesn't work that way. Okay. So you need skills, you need planning, you need organization, you need belief, you need to get through your own blocks, you need to know what to do, you need to know what content to put where, you need to know your personal brand, you need to know how to leverage social media, you need to know how to attract people to you. Like, you need to know all the things. And if you don't know all of that, you've got to learn all of that. Okay? Because if you already had all the answers, you'd already be successful. So if you're not already successful, you can either spend a lot of time fluffing around, working out how to do it the hard way, or you can invest in some really good quality training for a period of time and speed up that learning curve and get your investment back. Like, I know what I've done. In my journey, I have spent well over $100,000 learning what I've learned. Now, that might make some of you go, I've traveled to America 12 times in the last 6 years, I think it is, for mentorship, for training. And now I speak on stages, over there. But I've invested in myself and my business and mentors to help speed up the learning curve. And there's no way I would be a multiple six-figure earner without it. So what do you think the missing piece is that I'm talking about? Like, I'd love to know if you're picking up on my clues here. Because most of you are wasting a lot of time fluffing around with cheap trainings and, bits of information. You're following too many gurus and you're listening to all sorts of different things and you're looking around, you're getting distracted, and it's like, oh, that might help me, or that $27 training might help me, or that $47 training might help me, or that $97 training might help me. And you've done a lot of them and you're still no further ahead. Okay? So no one still put it down, but what I'm talking about is mentorship. Now, I know some of you don't want to hear that, but even my mentors that have earned over $40 million online have mentors. Everybody should have a mentor. You need to bounce ideas off them. You need to work with somebody who's actually got the results that you want, so you can walk in their shoes and take all their lessons that they've learnt, and preferably somebody that's actually in the industry building, so you can pick up on all the relevant stuff, because social media moves very, very fast. And unless you're talking to somebody who's actually living and breathing it and working it themselves, then, sometimes that's a little bit hard. But if you don't know, if you don't have the skill level yet, you need the skill level, but you need to speed up that skill level. And you can either spend a lot of time fluffing around trying to work it out yourself, or you can invest in some training and some mentorship, and speed up that learning process. Okay, get the answers that you need. Get on course. And I've got lots of people in my community. I've got my coaching community, but twice a year I open up my VIP mentorship program, which is a 6-month program. Okay, and I'll tell you what that's all about in shortly. But I want you to hear from somebody that's actually in my program, that can tell you from their perspective what it's like to work closely with a mentor, not only for like a month or 3 weeks, but like for full 6 months in going through a process of, personal development, content creation, planning, getting organized, focused, DMO. What platforms are you on? What are you doing on those platforms? What content are you creating on those platforms? Is it the right messaging? Is it the right hook? Is it the right attention grabber? Getting really organized with all of that kind of stuff, having somebody review your work, keeping you accountable, keeping you showing up every week, ticking the boxes every week, doing an accountability video every week for what you're doing. Like, some of you need that accountability, because I spoke about this the other day. In our industry, we're our own boss. And unfortunately, we're quite happy to let ourselves down and help everybody else. But sometimes we need somebody, working with us, that's right there, keeping us accountable to what we're doing every week. And if we're not doing it every week, you get a loving kick up the bum as to why you're not doing what you should do. Like, I had somebody in my program just this week send me a message. I think I spoke about this a couple of days ago, and was, just saying some stuff. I won't divulge too much. And I'm like, I love you, but when are you going to get yourself out of your own way? like, can you not recognize this and this and this and this and this? And they're like, yeah, you're probably right. Like sometimes we need that voice of reason. Okay. But I'm going to bring on the screen, and we were having some technical difficulties. So I'm hoping that her connection is okay. I would like to welcome to the screen Wanda. Wanda is just finishing off the last 6 months with me in my mentorship program. And I want you to hear it from her as to what a difference working with a mentor makes, and how much of a difference it's made to her journey online and what she has achieved in the last 6 months. So please share with us, Wanda, what a difference it has made working with, you know, somebody like myself in getting organized, your branding, content creation, focus, organization, all of that. Like, we'd just love to hear your experience in how important you think this is. And for those of you watching on Instagram or watching the replay, I know you can't see Wanda. I'm hoping you can hear her. She's over here on Facebook, on my business page, and in my free group, and on YouTube. So if you're watching from Instagram, go and watch my video over on one of those platforms to see her beautiful face. But fire away, Wanda. Let us know your thoughts, and please help me welcome Wanda to this video. Just to share her thoughts. So
hi,
fire
Helen.
away, Wanda.
I hope our internet is working. If it's glitchy, you can let me know. So thanks for inviting me on. And I have to say, everything that you were saying leading up to this, I'm very much a DIY person. I'll figure it out myself. And I've generally been very successful with that until I came to social media. And I wanted to learn the skill of social selling. I wanted an online business, and I did give it a go for a very long time. And I started searching for answers, and I stumbled on Helen. But this is what brought me into Helen. It was her energy. She was always happy. And the first thing that she'll tell you is if you're not having fun, you're doing it all wrong.
Yep.
And I wasn't having fun anymore.
Yeah.
So I knew something had to give. But I'll tell you one thing that I really have appreciated, and it's very hard to accept as a DIY. I'll figure it out myself. It's the accountability. And when Helen has told you twice or maybe 3 times, I just told you that, and you haven't done it, by the 4th time, you're like, I'm going to get it done. I'm not going to embarrass myself again. A huge part is accountability. And not just in social selling skills, but the overarching umbrella of why are you doing it? Balancing every other part of your life. And by no means do these happen overnight. By no means. And a lot of these things, I have to take really, really good notes. And sometimes they're still not good enough. I have to go back and watch your videos again and stop it and write it down and stop it and go back and do what you just showed us on the phone. So having access to go back again and again and again to the same training is huge.
I think, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but we were talking the other day and I was reviewing your socials. That's all part of the program. Like, I actually look at people's work and go, okay, you're missing this or you're missing that, or you're off the mark with this or that, whatever. And I said to Wanda, do you remember what I said to you on our last call? And I said, you're still kind of doing it. This is what I recommend that you change and update, for various reasons. So a lot of you will actually listen to trainings, but you take in, and this is not, I'm not pointing the finger at Wanda, this is everybody. Most people retain about 5 or 10% of a training that they've watched or something that they've heard, or you actually agree with something. Like, many of you have probably watched a video of mine and going, oh yeah, I should do that. Or yep, I'll go and do that. But it's not until you hear it or somebody's in your ear going, that's not actually, what we said, or do you remember me telling you about this? Like, and you just got to work with somebody closely for, minimum 6 months to get that message through to truly make a change. And this is what happened with Wanda the other day. Like, I shared something with her not, you know, about a month ago, I think it was. And then I looked at her socials again. It's like, you're still actually doing those things that I kind of told you not to do. But that's why you need a mentor. And, you know, she knows that I say that with love, but that's what we kind of need sometimes. We need to, like those of you that know me well, sometimes I go like this, like, are you really hearing me this time? Like, you know, I just want to share with you guys, like, are you really hearing me when I tell you some things about what you need to concentrate on? And it's not until you work with somebody closely who gets to know you, looks at your progress and your social media and all of that kind of stuff that can actually really, I guess, instill change. Like, you know, and speak to that, Wanda, like what's changed for you with focus, content, messaging, planning, balancing your wheel. Like we talk about all of that. We've got to balance social media and life so you don't end up hating social media. Like there's so many elements to being successful online, and you got to balance
that's so true. And going back to, I just told you that a month ago, there's so much content and it's almost like you're being fed from a water hose.
Yeah.
That's why you have to go back, and about retaining like 5% of it. Yeah, there's the other 95% that we have to get caught up on. And this is my one thing takeaway. And I think I mentioned that the other night. You really don't know how far you've come until you go back 6 months or a year and look at your content. But the more you do it and the more you're in front of people that are like, okay, this is how you do it to get from A to Z, you find your confidence going up. And then that confidence fuels you and it comes across in the screen.
I actually can't say that any better. The word confidence. Most people hold themselves back on social media because they're not confident. And that could be personally because of self-belief or, you know, your own issues, or the content of what to put out there, or the messaging or the branding or whatever. It comes down to confidence. So when you work with somebody and you work through a curriculum to work on all of those things, it builds your confidence. And when you build confidence, you show up more. When you show up more, your audience sees you more. When your audience sees you more and you're confident and you're more consistent, because I'm kicking your butt with accountability, that's when things change. And it doesn't happen overnight, but, you know, things progressively do change when you feel more confident, because when you feel more confident, things get easier. When we don't feel confident with our branding, our content, our organization, our focus, all of that kind of stuff, it holds us back and we wonder why we don't get the results in our business. So it's really important to kind of speed up all of that kind of stuff with, you know, what you're doing. And you don't know what you don't know. This is the biggest thing. Like I've had to have mentors kick my butt going, Helen, you're doing it again. And it's like, oh, am I, like, you know, beating myself up or not showing up enough? Or, you know, a mentor will see in you what you don't. And sometimes you just need that person to sort of, and you're like, oh, okay, I didn't realize I was still doing that, or I wasn't doing that, or that's what I needed to do. So that's what working with a mentor, you know, can help you through. And what about, like, over the 6 months, we work on direction, focus, accountability, daily method of operation, planning, goals, balancing, social media organization, reels, TikTok, stories, posts, you know, and if somebody's ready for it, freebies and email marketing and link trees and all of that kind of stuff. Like, you know, as far as sort of covering all of that, but still keeping in control, like the way the program's structured with having a different focus every month, have you found that helpful to be able to move through all the complicated things that we need to take care of on social media?
It is. It's like trying to digest the encyclopedia in 24 hours, but you know you've got the resources to go back to. I will say that some of the things that are just massive is the monthly schedule that we get, the Google Doc that we can go back and we can keep track of. It's so simplistic. It's just you have to follow the steps. It's not easy, but it's very doable because there's a track to run on.
Mm. So what Wanda's talking about is I have a very high level of accountability in the program, and we have a Google sheet, and you have to tick off things every single week. You've got action items. I'm very organized and methodic. So what I ask you to do is all listed out, and you just have to do it and tick a box. So it's very clear to me who's doing the work and who's not doing the work, because either the box gets ticked, or I guess people could tick the box if they didn't know it, but you can generally tell. We have 2 calls a month where we've got training and we get stuck into stuff. And the second call is a reviews call. So whatever you're working on, whatever you need to talk about, whatever you're stuck on, we actually talk about that. And I only take 10 people. That's why it's very concentrated. So we can actually get everybody the one-on-one attention that they need. There's a separate Facebook group where you can ask questions, throw anything in there, get my advice, get my support. Helen, I'm having a conversation with somebody, I don't know what to say, screenshot it, put it in the group. Helen, I'm working on this freebie, can you edit it for me? Well, not edit it, but give me your feedback on it, etc. Like, you can get as much as support, as you like. But you've got to come to the table. The accountability is there. The structure is there. Every week, you've got to do a video for me on what you're working on, what you've progressed with. And if you, and I'll get you to speak to this one as well. If you haven't done what you've done, I do ask the question, why haven't you done what you've done? And what are you going to do differently about it? So that constant evaluation every week, how do you find that helpful? Wanda, because there's a specific strategy that I have with moving people through their problems quicker. And that question and that thought process is part of that.
I'm quite sure that is a psychological component, because you don't want to answer, why didn't you do it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, life gets in the way.
Yep.
Life gets busy. And there's days that you literally, for your mentality, need to step away from social media. So we all have to give ourselves grace for that. But just staying on task. And
yeah.
And then I did find out, this is huge for me, the accountability in what I needed to do, pulling time from other areas, shortening that up so I could still give more time to what I needed on the social media. So that's where the accountability and the time blocking has been huge.
Yeah. So just to sort of fill in the pieces there with what Wanda's talking about, and how we structure the program. So month 1 is all about mindset and the blocks that you've got and limiting beliefs. And because if you can't get through that, then we've got a problem. And some people, really struggle with that side of it. So it's really important to address that. Month 2, we go into branding, attraction marketing strategies, building a following, all those kind of things. Month 3, we really get into that planning, goal setting, time blocking, balancing your wheel, planning your calendar, getting organized. Most people are not organized. So there's a fine line between, when life gets in the way, yes, you've got to give yourself some grace. And social media is pretty forgiving, and that you can step away sometimes when you need to deal with your issues or family issues or whatever. But the way we keep the accountability is that you don't fall off the wagon for too long. When people are left to their own devices, you fall off the wagon for too long. Like, put the word me in the comments if you can admit that you were on a roll with something, you were doing well, life got in the way, you fell off the wagon, and you've stayed off the wagon. Like, you've never really got back on the wagon. So if that's happening, we talk about that and how to get you back on the wagon quickly, but still not ignoring whatever it is that you need to deal with, in your life. We're all humans. Like, we need to have grace, with things that we're going through. Month 4, we go through producing content, and that could be reels, TikTok, stories, posts, any element of content creation. Month 5 is all about prospecting and recruiting and having conversations, messenger conversations. And we talk a lot about that, don't we, Wanda, about, talking to people and conversations and a lot of the mistakes that we made with prospecting and all those kind of things. Like, there's extra training just for the VIPs. Just on that topic. And then month 6 is all about building influence. And if you're ready for it, freebies, automation, email marketing, business pages, all of that kind of stuff. Some people are ready for that. Some people aren't, but there's flexibility in that. So we go through, kind of all of that as well. So I guess, Wanda, to wrap it up, from when you started with the program to, like, you're coming at the end of this 6 month, in the program, how do you feel in relation to your direction, your branding, your content, your focus, your organization, and keeping yourself accountable to what you're doing?
Well, it's all massive. There's been a massive shift. But the bigger thing that I love is I've got all of this now. I can still, it goes back to feeding from a fire hose. I can go back now and like, okay, this makes sense now. This makes sense now. And this makes sense. So it's like going back and reviewing for the final again and again. There's been a huge shift.
Yeah, amazing. Well, I just want to acknowledge you for the effort and the transformation for you in so many ways in the last 6 months has been a pleasure to watch. You've always shown up. You've been accountable. The one thing I will say is don't join any kind of mentor or program if you're not going to show up and do the work, because I can't do the work for you. I can guide you. I can give you the support. I can give you the accountability. You can lean on my shoulder. We can talk about anything. I can guide you in the right direction, but I just can't do the work for you. So I just want to acknowledge you, Wanda, in showing up, being accountable, doing the work, and the growth that I've seen in you. And I know this is going to be a big year for you. So, you've already
I have to say to that, Helen, it's how bad do you want it?
Yep. That's, and that's a very good point, because people want it, but they're not willing to get out of their own way. So if you want it bad enough, you'll do hard things. Wanda's done hard things. Some people want it, but they obviously don't want it as much as they think they want it because they can't get out of their own way. So you got to be able to get out of your own way. You got to want it. You got to want to do the work. Otherwise, don't buy any programs if you're not going to, kind of do the work. So what I'm sharing with you is my program only opens twice a year. It's from April to September or October to March. So we're just finishing off a current round, and it reopens on the 1st of April for 6 months. If this is something you think you could benefit from, put the word VIP in the comments or send me a message and just get the information of what it entails, the curriculum for the 6 months, how it all works, the calls, the structure, and those kind of things. And you can just see if it's a good fit for you. But please don't, if you're not serious about getting great results or doing the work, don't ask for the information, because, I don't want to waste your time, and vice versa. We just really, if you're ready for that next level, you need the accountability, the structure, the training, the curriculum to go through all areas of social media, then this could be something that could be a well worth investment. You've got two things, time and money. So you can fluff around for another 6 months, another year, another 18 months doing it on your own, or you can just invest a little bit of money and get that direction, go all in for 6 months and get everything out of it that you possibly can. So then you've got the skills to do it on your own. Okay, so I know what mentorship has done for me. I've seen the growth in Wanda, and I'm so proud of you with everything that you've achieved. I'm so excited to see, everything that you're going to achieve this year. I know it's going to be huge. It's already started, with the results of what you're doing. So well done to you. And so again, if anyone wants to consider that, just have a look at what's involved. But it's open now for a 1st of April intake for the next 6 months, and I only take 10. The existing VIPs get preference. So sometimes more than half the spots are already filled with the people that want to stay. So there's very limited spots. If it's something that you're open to, just reach out, get the information, and let's have a conversation. It's not a good fit for some people. Some people are just not ready for that kind of commitment. But if you want to put your foot on the gas and speed up your results in 2025, it could be exactly what you need to do. So thank you, Wanda, for giving up your time and sort of sharing your experience. I really appreciate you sharing. And if anyone wants to sort of talk about this program and kickstart the rest of the year in 2025, like we're already in March, there's already 2 months of 2025 gone, but there's plenty of 2025 yet left to, make a big impact. So reach out if you need some information, and don't, at the timing of this video, watch my video tomorrow. There's a new Reels feature, which is really working for a lot of people. And I want to share with you what it is, how to access it, and how to use it. So you all want to tune into tomorrow's video as well. So I'll catch you then. Thank you, Wanda. I appreciate you. Bye, everyone.